Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is David Cashman. I'm with SEB Housing. This is the lottery for the final remaining two-bedroom affordable unit at Meadowview Commons in Easton. So I'm going to start by just giving everyone who's watching a little bit of background information about how the lottery drawing will go, how many applicants we had for the lottery, their household types, how we'll create the waiting list, and a little bit about what to expect moving forward. Some of this you may already know from having looked through the application materials and the information packet that we put out before the lottery. Some of it may be new. The drawing itself is not going to take very much time at all. Okay, the drawing itself is only going to take a minute or two. So it's going to go quickly. And recall that the drawing itself doesn't necessarily dictate the exact order of the waiting list because there are certain priorities that we have to give. In this case, we have to prioritize larger type 2 households who need both bedrooms. As you may recall, when you completed your lottery application, one of the questions that you had to answer was what household type you are. You could be a type 2 household or a type 1 household. And the type generally corresponds to the number of bedrooms that the program says you need. So if you had 3 people in your, for example, if you have 3 people in your household or 4 people in your household, you'd be a type 2 household. But if you're just a single person or like a married couple or similar, you'd be a type 1 household. And that's going to matter because ultimately when we create the waiting list, the type 2 households will be above the type 1 households, independent of the order that those households are drawn. So, in this lottery, we had 9 eligible participants. So all 9 of those households numbers are going to be drawn when I do the drawing in just a little bit here. 7 of those 9 households were type 2 households and 2 were type 1 households. So for those 2 type 1 households, even if they're the first 2 drawn in the lottery, they're actually going to be in the 8th and 9th positions. Okay, that I can tell you because the type 2 households will get priority. So when I do the drawing, that's not necessarily the waiting list. That's not necessarily the order of the waiting list. Because again, if the very first household that's drawn is a type 1 household, they're not going to be number 1 on the waiting list. They're going to be number 8. Okay. But if the very first household drawn is a type 2 household, then they would be number 1 on the waiting list. Anyway, point is, after I do the drawing, after we conclude this session, I will sort the results, I will create the waiting list, and I will email the waiting list to you. And the waiting list will have your lottery application number on it. Hopefully everyone has their lottery application number. If not, please let me know. You can let me know right now by typing something in the dialog bar to the right of where you see me. You can just say, hey, my name is blank, or just if you want to give me your last name. I can look up what your lottery application number is. Now, if you know your lottery application number, you don't need, please don't say anything. Better off that I not know. But if you've forgotten it, please let me know and I can let you know what it is. We have a question from Joanne. Do you have applications? So Joanne, at this point, we already had 9 households for the lottery, so we're not currently accepting any more applications. The application period has passed. I fully suspect that with 9 lottery households, that unit is going to be taken by one of them. So at this point, we won't be providing applications or accepting applications. If somehow all 9 households fail to move forward and purchase this unit and it's still available, then we'd reopen the process. But at this particular time, we've got 9 households in the lottery. The deadline by which to submit a lottery application passed, I think, over a week ago. And so we are no longer providing those. So again, if there's anyone watching, you should have your lottery application number. That would have been sent to you when we let you know that you were eligible for the lottery. If you've forgotten what it is or can't find it, let me know and I'll look it up for you. Joanne, you should go on our website to see what our current available opportunities are. Let me just write what that is. And then you can go, once you go to www.sebhousing.com, there's an opportunities page. Go to for sale opportunities, and you can see any other current for sale opportunities that we're working on. And then you should just check there periodically every couple of weeks to see if we've added anything new. Okay. But we do update it, right? Anytime we start a new lottery or marketing campaign, those units will be listed on our website. So if you check it every couple of weeks, you'll be sure to see what's currently available. So for this lottery, like I said, there are 9 households who will be entered. Again, every single household's number will be picked in the drawing. I will pull the lottery application numbers out of a box. Joanne, yep, you got it. Yep, no, this one is, we started a couple months ago, so I'm sorry you missed it, but there will be other opportunities, so keep checking in. But so to go back, I'll pull the 9 numbers out of a box. I'll do them one by one. I will hold the numbers up to the screen as I go, and then I just need to make note. I note that everyone in this lottery has an email. So in just probably, within the hour of concluding the drawing, I'll send you an email with the waiting list, and that'll have your lottery application number on it, so you'll know exactly where you stand relative to the other 8 households who were in the lottery. And then the top household, we then will send their file to the monitoring agent, which is DHCD, who needs to give us the final sign-off that says, yes, they agree that you're eligible for this program opportunity. So if you're the top household, we'll send you that notice that says, hey, you were #1 on the waiting list. We're now sending all of your file material to DHCD for final approval. As soon as we hear back from them, we'll let you know. We think your file is complete and that you've submitted everything that you need to submit. But, if for some reason they see something that we missed, please just be ready to respond pretty quickly from when you get that notice from us. But if DHCD agrees that you're eligible, then you would move forward in the next step of this process, which is to engage with the sales team. We would put you in touch with them and exchange your information so you can be in touch with them. You'd have probably a week or so from when they reach out to you to reserve this last available unit. There's a $500 deposit that you'll have to put down to reserve the unit. When you reserve the unit, you'll set a date by which to sign a purchase and sale agreement. At that point, or even before, it may be advisable to hire an attorney to start representing you and making sure that you understand, what this purchase is, what your rights and obligations are. Home purchase is the biggest purchase most people make in their lives, so having legal representation is not a bad idea. It's not required. If you prefer to go it alone, you certainly can. But if you'd like to have an attorney represent you, that's also a good idea. They can help you review the legal documents and make sure that your rights are represented. And then so you'll sign the purchase and sale agreement by the date specified when you reserve the home. And then once that's done, you'll have a date by which to get your mortgage commitment. Once you get the mortgage commitment, you'll most likely have to update your file with SEB because you have to remain program eligible all the way up through closing. So you'll want to, if you get updated pay stubs or bank statements, just print those off or save them in some way and add them to your file so that when you get that mortgage commitment, we say, great, you're moving along in this process. You now have your mortgage commitment. Now we just need you to update your file to make sure that you haven't gotten a new job and your income hasn't gone up. You'll have those documents ready to submit to us. And then once you get through that, you'll be basically done with us. And the final thing to do in this process will be to close on the home. And if and when you do that, you'll be totally done. No more submitting stuff, and you can move in and hopefully fall in love with your new home. But we'll send around instructions so that you'll know what to expect, and you'll have that all in writing. So I think that's it. If there are any questions, please type them in now. If you want to ask after I do the drawing, that's fine too. Like I said, the actual process of drawing the lottery application numbers out of the box, which I'm about to do momentarily, is going to take all of a minute, maybe 90 seconds, 2 minutes. It's not going to be long. And then, like I said, I'll stick around for a second if there are any questions. And if not, we'll wrap this up, and then I will get right to work in creating the waiting lists. And then I will send around the waiting lists and a little bit of information about the lottery this evening. So you just check your email and you'll see something from us. All right, so I don't see any questions. So again, these are the 9 lottery application numbers. I'm going to put them in the box, which I have underneath my desk here. I've already shuffled these, okay? They're random. I'm going to put them in the box. I'll shake them up some more so you can see that. And then I will go ahead and start picking them out one by one, and I will call them out as I do so, and I'll show them on the screen as well. All right, so here are the 9 numbers shuffled, putting them in the lottery box. I'm going to shake them up. Okay. Now we'll start picking them out. A.001. A.001 is the first number called. A.008. A.008 is next. A.003. A.003. A.004. A.004. A.005. A.005. A.007. A.007. A.002. A.002. A.009. A.009. A.006. A.006. That's it. Like I said, it was quick. Those were the 9 lottery numbers. I'll just go quickly. I'm going to run through those real quickly in case you missed it. But in order of drawing, it was A.001, A.008, A.003, A.004, A.005, A.007, A.002, A.009, and A.006. That's not necessarily the order that's the waiting list order. I have to make the waiting list now, giving proper priorities to the larger household types. But I will do that as soon as we get off this Zoom meeting, or live stream, I should say. And then I will send around the waiting lists in a PDF with some other information about next steps and the lottery itself in just probably 30 minutes from now. One thing I should say too is if you're not number 1 on the waiting list, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will not have an opportunity at this unit. Now, it only means that I can't guarantee you that opportunity because the top household on the waiting list is going to be given, there's only 1 unit, so they're going to have first dibs at it. But, you know, for various reasons, sometimes households don't end up moving forward. A home purchase is a big, big purchase. Maybe they decide it's not for them. Maybe they decide they want to live at a different place. Maybe they end up having trouble getting a mortgage commitment. Many different things can happen. So, you know, the fact that you're number 1 is not reason necessarily to say that you're not you know, that you absolutely won't get called. You might. It just means that we won't call you, you know, unless and until that top household has been given an opportunity. If the unit ends up getting reserved and purchased by a household ahead of you, if you're not in that number 1 spot, we won't end up being in further communication with you. Okay, I'll send you the waiting list and I'll send you the some lottery night info, but we'll only be reaching out to the top household. And if they end up, you know, purchasing the unit, then we won't be reaching back out to households further down on the list. But again, if the top household doesn't end up taking the unit for one reason or another, we'll move on to the second household. And if they don't end up taking it, we'll move on to the third household. So that's it, folks. If there are any questions, I'll stick around for a second to answer those. But if not, thanks for tuning in. You know, thanks for your application. I understand that it's a lot of effort to submit all of the documentation to get into the lottery. And if you don't end up getting the opportunity to purchase the unit, that's obviously a disappointment. There will be other opportunities. There are currently other opportunities. If you've, you know, the required documentation for other affordable housing opportunities is going to be quite similar to what you submitted here. So you should have all that stuff. If this one doesn't end up working out for you, there are others, and they're on our website. There will be more coming on our website. And we're also not the only affordable housing game in town. There are other agents that do this. We don't represent every development or developer that has affordable units. So if this one doesn't end up working out, you don't see other ones on our website that are of interest to you, you might look in other places and find something else that that could work for you. But I do thank you for your application. And it looks like we have a question here. So a single family household, even though they're in the top 3, will not be considered. So if it's a 1 person and they're a type 1 household as indicated on their lottery application, which would have been confirmed in the notice that we sent to you before the lottery, it's not that they won't be considered. It just means that there were only 2 type 1 households. All the other 7 households were type 2 households, and the 7 type 2 households are going to be in the top 7 spots on the waiting list, followed by the 2 type 1 households. And so it is probably unlikely that we'll get to the households in the 8th and 9th positions on the waiting list. I would say it's more likely that this unit will end up being purchased by one of the households in the top 7 spots, but who knows? Maybe not. It's possible. So All 9 households will be on the waiting list. It's just that, so your question is, are we out of reach for the house then? I would say it's probably unlikely that you're going to get called and have an opportunity to purchase this. I would say it's probably unlikely. It's possible, but unlikely. But like I said, there are other opportunities out there that we're involved with and ones that we aren't involved with. So if this one doesn't end up working out for you, keep an eye out. There may be other ones. Any other questions? Nope. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. I will be in touch in the next 30 minutes or so, maybe 45, with the waiting lists and a little bit more information about the lottery drawing and next steps. Thanks for your application. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope everyone has a great night. Good night.